Hi, this is Sara Towe from Astral Connections, and here with me I have Sara Towe. Sara is the founder of the Art of Positive Living. Can you tell me a little bit about that? What is the Art of Positive
Living? Creativity is the art side of it. You know, we need to live more in our creativity. It is what makes the whole world go round, and positivity is an attitude that we need to be in a frame of mind in order to live that life of truth and purpose.
Okay, so how did the Art of Positive Living come to be? Like, what motivated it? What got you there? There must be many events in your life that got you there.
Many events. One of them was divorce.
Okay.
And looking for a new journey in life. My spiritual side of me, my conscious side of me has been with me my entire life, and I've always lived in that realm, and it's taken different waves and different journeys according to what's going on. And for a while there in my marriage, really my spiritual side kind of left due to circumstances, and this was a discovery of coming back into life.
That happens, your spiritual life.
Oh yes, if you do not nurture your spirit and your soul, it will abandon you. It's there. We abandon it in actual fact. So I had to rediscover it, and part of the journey in rediscovering it was the Art of Positive Living and taking that journey.
Fascinating. So, the Art of Positive Living. When you say that to me, I think website. I don't know what you're referring to as the Art of Positive Living. So, like, in your life journey, there must have been a point where you realized that this was important. Can you talk a little bit about that?
My entire life I've always realized it's important, and my balance and my equilibrium is only if I really am being true to my spirit. Life is about balance. It is about that positive attitude. It is about purpose, and it is about a collective. Very, very important. We've become a very, very society.
Self-focused.
Selfish, self-motivated, self-everything, even self-awareness is too much based on the self and not on the purpose of self for the collective consciousness. And we are needing to be a part of that collective consciousness in order to really make things go. So getting back into this was really my spirit being freed and being allowed to fly again, and just waking up my whole consciousness.
Wow.
And it is truly who I am, right down to my very core. But I have what I call the humanoid side, which is the human realm of living life without any form of consciousness or connection. And there are some people that just live in that connection and do not really attach themselves very much to the body.
So you need
feet
balance.
on both. Well, you need balance, and particularly my job and my purpose in life is to help people cross over into that consciousness and embrace that spirit and embrace that soul, embrace that
part of that.
Grounded in the sense the way people understand, no. There are some people that need to be in flight, and there are some people that are just part of the wind. And I know that kind of sounds a little bit out there, but groundedness in the way that people talk about it, sensible, be grounded, isn't the freedom of spirit.
Right.
You know, you may be a person of earth, and the ground is what speaks to you.
Right.
But to be grounded in the sense that you need to be grounded in order to find spirit, no.
Okay, fascinating. You mentioned the word life a lot, so tell me a little bit about your early life.
Ooh, well, I was brought up in England in a very traditional British family. I also teach two colours, which is personality identification and profiling, and I was always the so-called black sheep and the odd one out, because I spoke to dead people and I lived in this spiritual world, and as far as my family was concerned, I was the one that was out there. And my father died when I was 11, and my mother and I moved to South Africa. And South Africa was a very mixed place for me, but it was certainly a place where my spirit came to life. It has a wonderful vibration there, a wonderful rhythm of life there that is practiced, and it really did awaken that for me. And then 31 years ago, last week actually, I came here. And I was only going to be here a year, and on my way, and I met my ex-husband and proceeded to have, 3 kids, cat, dog, the whole
the whole
works.
gamut.
Yeah, the whole works that went along with that.
Okay.
So that is somewhat of my background. But I've only lived in my truth and my purpose when I live in my spirit. And whatever else I have done, unless it's been attached to that, I cannot say I've lived my truth.
You mentioned talking to dead people.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about
And The Sixth Sense was a very good movie, yes.
Tell me about your first
It's
experience.
just a dimension. It's just dimensions. I mean, as a child, I used to play with them. And my parents thought it was an imaginary person, but for me, they felt so entirely real. And it's not the sense that that person is there. I think what happened to me as a child is that I would go into a different dimension. I was a very sickly child, and so consequently would spend a great deal of time in bed. And so I wasn't physically active. I had to go into my mind. And for many years I questioned, was it just imagination? But there was just too many things there that as I grew up I understood that I was just able to bleed into that dimension of people that had not yet really truly crossed over, really gone on to another plane.
That's an interesting conclusion. So your body wasn't well, so you spent more time in your mind.
In my heart, my soul, and my mind, yes.
Wow. And how old were you when you weren't well?
Oh gosh, from the age of about 18 months up till...
Wow.
One of the reasons we went to South Africa is that I was told that I was an asthmatic, chronic asthmatic, and that I wouldn't survive another winter. Mm-hmm. So we went to South Africa.
But you survived.
I survived. I'm a tough old broad. I keep going. But that was one of the reasons that we left. So it's I was one of those kids that at least 3 months of every year I was bedbound.
So the other thing you mentioned was frequency and vibration.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell everyone?
Life
what you're
is
referring
energy,
to?
it is a wavelength, it is a frequency, and everything we do has to be basically on a wave, on a frequency, on a continuous movement. When we talk about blocked chi, blocked energy, that blockage is generally an emotional problem. It can be a physical element. A lot of that physical element can come from an emotional problem. And we need to get to that root and release it in order for that energy and that chi to be going. So life is a rhythm, it is a wave, it is a frequency that needs to be continually moving on. In the water you have the currents, the wind, you have the constant change of direction. Everything has movement to it, and that movement requires energy, and we are made up entirely of energy. So living a very rhythmical life, be it from music, movement, be rhythm in our lives, in our minds, everything has to be a rhythm, a flow, following that wave and that frequency. And I personally feel what is wrong with the planet at the present moment is that there is far too much blocked energy. And we have got a very, very angry Mother Earth because the vibration of all this negative energy is too thunderous on her core. And we have so-called Father Conscious up in the heavens who has been misrepresented in the truth of the consciousness. And it has become a worship that has become used in the name of war and death and control and fear. And so we haven't got that balance that's there anymore. And we as the children of the earth have to really raise our consciousness, raise our own vibrations, our own awareness, in really order to bring that collective energy back into a proper balance and realm again. I personally feel if we don't, we're going to see the destruction of this earth, because this earth cannot take this abuse that we're giving it through negativity, through bad vibration.